Welcome back to the show. It is December 2nd, so I hope everyone just finished putting up their Christmas lights, their Christmas trees, and they're getting in the Christmas spirit. I love it. Something I don't necessarily love, though, is the past 24 hours have been kind of crazy because President Biden just pardoned his son, Hunter. And it's been really wild to see all of this unfold over the last 24 hours because I've just been, like kind of like a little kid in a candy shop, just looking at so many perspectives, seeing what independents have to say, seeing what Republicans have to say, and seeing what Democrats have to say. And I just think it's so interesting seeing all these it takes. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. It's going to be like a menu or a catalog of perspectives. So let's go ahead and dive into it. One sane perspective that I saw was really from Chris Cuomo here. I saw this posted a couple minutes ago, and he said, of course, Biden pardoned his son, just like Trump pardoned many of his own people. The left and the right are one and the same, but only those true independents can see that clearly. I won't play the whole thing. This is a 10-minute video, but I will play just about the first minute. But check this out. I think he has a really valuable thought here.
Was more about thanks and less about giving each other a hard time. But look, now that you digested that moment and that meal, I have some new food for thought for you. There are three groups of people watching me right now. Two of you are going to hate half of what I'm about to say. And the third group, the independent thinkers, you are who News Nation is built to support. Those sick of left and right. You're going to see what I'm saying exactly for what it is. So let's get after it. And by it, I mean I am even shocked by the hypocrisy and the hand-wringing going on over the Biden pardon of his son and about Trump's picks in his administration. First, forget about politics. Forget about everything. Just let's be human beings for a second. Who doesn't pardon their own son? Hey, fellow Democrats, to Biden saying that he made a mistake and that what he just did hurts people's confidence in leadership? You think pardoning his son is what people don't get? That's the only thing they get. That's not what hurts confidence. It may make people worry about you people and what you don't get about taking care of family, which they probably already suspect. But the practical problem is Biden lied about it. Remember this?
So that kind of at the core is what he is trying to say, and what many, many people have been, erupting with frustration online about. It's the lying. And like if President Biden was so, and this is what I think is really fascinating. We're going to talk about this later on in the video, but there looks to be a very key core reason as to why President Biden has actually turned around on his word. So we're gonna go ahead and get into that later. But first, let's go ahead and just kind of show how very clear President Biden was about not pardoning his son and how it was completely off the table. Check this out.
Your son Hunter is on trial, and I know that you cannot speak about an ongoing federal prosecution. But let me ask you, will you accept the jury's outcome, their verdict, no matter what it is?
Yes.
And have you ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes.
Have you ruled out a pardon of your son? And this is as clear as rain. All right. Yes, I have completely ruled it out. So what happened? What happened? I thought a really, good way to kind of start this is just by going through his actual statement. It's not long. It's not long, and but I do think it's important. I remember one time at Bible study, me and my friends were talking about something that just happened in California, and we didn't necessarily agree with it. So one of my friends decided to say, you know what, let's read the bill. Let's actually read what's going on. All right. And everyone pulled out their phones and we just started reading the bill. And it was really fascinating the amount of things that you just learn after just reading it and taking your time and just getting that all out of the way. So if you guys haven't read it yet, if you've just been, listening to other people kind of talk about their takes, let me go ahead and just read this very quickly. This is the statement from President Joe Biden on whitehouse.gov briefing room statements. Okay, I think this is important. President Biden says, "Today I signed a pardon for my son Hunter. From the day I took office, I said I would not interfere with the Justice Department's decision making, and I kept my word, even if I've watched my son being selectively and unfairly prosecuted without aggravating factors like use in a crime, multiple purchases, or buying a weapon as a straw purchaser, or people are almost never brought to trial on felony charges solely for how they filled out a gun form. Those who were late paying their taxes because of serious addictions, but paid them back subsequently with interest and penalties, are typically given non-criminal resolutions. It is clear that Hunter was treated differently. The charges in his cases came about only after several of my political opponents in Congress instigated them to attack me and oppose my election. Then a carefully negotiated plea deal agreed to by the Department of Justice unraveled in the courtroom, with a number of my political opponents in Congress taking credit for bringing political pressure on the process. Had the plea deal held, it would have been a fair, reasonable resolution of Hunter's cases. No reasonable person who looks at the facts of Hunter's cases can reach any other conclusion other than Hunter was singled out only because he is my son. And that is wrong. There has been an effort to break Hunter, who has been 5.5 years sober, even in the face of unrelenting attacks and selective prosecution. In trying to break Hunter, they've tried to break me, and there's no reason to believe it will stop here. Enough is enough. For my entire career, I have followed a simple principle: just tell the American people the truth. They'll be fair-minded. Here's the truth: I believe in the justice system, but as I have wrestled with this, I also believe raw politics has infected this process, and it led to a miscarriage of justice. And once I made this decision this weekend, there was no sense in delaying it further. I hope Americans will understand why a father and a president would come to this decision. And right underneath it, we have the executive grant of clemency. All right, look at this. Robert Hunter Biden, a full and unconditional pardon for those offenses against the United States which he has committed or may have committed or taken part in during the period from January 1st, 2014 through December 1st, 2024, including but not limited to all offensive charges or prosecuted, including any that have resulted in convictions by special counsel David C. Wes in a docket, and so forth. All right. That is the whole shebang. That is the entire statement as well as the grant. And obviously, people everywhere are upset. Okay. They don't understand it, very confused about it, and kind of rightfully so. I love this video by Benny Johnson because he went ahead and he put out this video of just, the press secretary just countlessly saying that President Biden would not pardon his son. And this is just really, really entertaining because, again, people have the right to be upset about this, right? There's a lot of hypocrisy here from both the left and the right, and it's very telling. But let's watch this short 45-second compilation. Okay, check this out.
Second one, will the president pardon or commute his son if he's convicted?
So I've answered this question before. It was asked of me not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, and I was very clear and I said no.
Okay. Let me go back to the first question of the briefing. I know you said not a lot's changed since yesterday and that it's a personal matter, but from a presidential perspective, is there any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
No.
Again, you've also said several times that the president would not pardon or commute sentences for his son, Hunter. I just want to make sure that that is not going to change over the next 6 months. The president's saying it would not.
It's still a no. It's still a no.
It will always be a no.
It's still a no. It will be a no. It is a no. And I don't have anything else to add. Will he pardon his son? No.
That last part is crazy. It's a no. It's still a no. It's always going to be a no. And then, obviously, things changed, right? President Biden did it. Okay, so people have every right to be angry here. But just to go back to kind of Chris Cuomo's point here, where he says, just like Trump pardoned many of his own people, I thought I'd go ahead and bring, I wanted to bring that front and center just a little bit for this quick minute. This is according to justice.gov/pardons, right? So pardons granted by President Donald J. Trump from his years in office. All right, starting from August 25th, 2017, with Joseph M. Arpaio, all the way down to this giant list of pardons that he did on the last day of his presidency. Right? There's a lot of people here. Okay? There is a ton of people. So I don't think anyone's arguing about, like an unlawful use of pardons. Again, it's really the fact that President Biden kind of lied about it, right? And he did so in such a public fashion. It is crazy. Like, I love this picture that Tiffany Fong shared, and it's this community note that is being proposed on Joe Biden's tweet that says, "No one is above the law." The community note says, Joe Biden has pardoned his son, Hunter Biden, of all criminal convictions on December 1st, 2024. According to Joe Biden's actions, he and his son are, in fact, above the law. I really hope that community note passes, because it's true, right? Don't tweet it unless you mean it, okay? And again, sure, things change, but to do so publicly is devastating. Now, to get into kind of some of the perspectives that I've been seeing, Harry Sisson, right? One of the most iconic, almost leaders of the Democratic Party. It's kind of crazy, like the Democratic Party probably shouldn't have someone so outspoken as one of their representatives, even so unofficially, but that's what it's like. Or you could argue officially, if you believe, like I do, that he is a paid left-wing operative. Sounds about right. But he goes ahead and he says, breaking, Hunter Biden just released a statement after being pardoned by President Joe Biden, and it's worth a read. Very well written and the right decision. All right, so he's calling this the right decision. Now, I went ahead and I went on his account yesterday, and I just searched the word pardon because I wanted to see what he talked about, like what he said about this publicly. And I found this incredible tweet from Harry Sisson on June 20th, 2023. He says, Hunter Biden is pleading guilty to 3 federal charges. Great. Accountability is amazing. Democrats support the fact that nobody is above the law. Republicans can't say the same, though. Well, you really can't say that anymore, can you, Harry? And again, a lot of people don't like this hypocrisy, right? A lot of people don't like that Democrats, they were completely for President Biden not pardoning his son because he was like, oh, yeah, no one's above the law. Sounds great. And now they're like, oh, it's actually the right decision. Pick a lane, right? Yes, things change, but right now in these moments, you totally just look like a puppet, right? You look like you were just given a script and you're just putting it out, and that's how I'm seeing it. But also, real quick, there's no sponsors on this on these videos, but I do like to kind of promote my newsletter because I think it's great. We go ahead and talk about the same things we talk about here, but they're in written format, and I go ahead and send it to your inbox. It's completely free to sign up, and I think it's awesome. There is a paid option. You absolutely don't need to touch that at all. If you really want to support, you can in that way. But I like this newsletter, and I think it's cool, and I think a lot of people, I get a lot of good feedback on it, so if you wanna check it out, feel free. But now, moving forward, I also really appreciated this perspective from Dave Portnoy. I really hope I'm pronouncing that name wrong, but he was kinda done with political content, but it looked like he had one more in him because he is absolutely furious about this decision. So, we're not gonna watch the whole thing, but I will play just a little bit of it because I think it's really entertaining.
Okay, I thought I was done with political rants, but I guess I got one more. This Hunter Biden thing, it's in the news. Everyone's talking about it. Joe Biden and the Democrats, after probably saying no less than 9,482 times unequivocally that Joe Biden would not pardon Hunter Biden if Trump was elected.
The president would not pardon or.
Yeah, I love that he's calling it out. It was a lot. It is crazy, but you know what? Something good that comes out of this pardon is actually the fact that people were right. These conspiracy theorists that were talking about the laptop and they were talking about Hunter Biden's ties with all over these global forces, those are kind of validated now in these pardons. And I love this perspective by Kate Hyde. She says Biden's presidency started with him denying the existence of Hunter's laptop and is ending with a Biden pardoning Hunter for all the things found on his laptop. That is insane. What a really valuable perspective. And it's crazy. But check this out. Like I said earlier, we were going to talk about kind of a core reason that we thought that President Biden chose to pardon his son after months of relentlessly saying that he would not do it, that he would not consider doing it, and the same coming from these White House officials. But it looks like one of the driving forces of this change was Dr. Jill Biden. According to Benny Johnson and CNN, check this out.
Clearly, there was pressure inside the family. We were told really in recent weeks that Dr. Jill Biden, First Lady Jill Biden, was very supportive of the president doing something like this. The president was not sure, but we clearly have seen now he has come to this decision to pardon his son Hunter.
Okay, so already there's a lot to unpack there. Okay, for one, you really see that even very up until very recently, President Biden was secure in his past decisions. That's why I don't know if I completely necessarily agree with the language of him saying like, oh, he was lying. Like back when all these other original clips came out, back in the summer, and he was asked all these things, or even with, Karine Jean-Pierre, whenever she's been asked like, oh, are they going to be are they being pardoned? And she just relentlessly says no. I don't know if it's fair to call those moments a lie, because if the decision comes after the fact, then it could have still been the truth up until that moment. So I don't know if it's fair to call it a lie, but it is still you could see the inconsistency, right? So I don't know. Is it lying? I don't know, but it is inconsistent and definitely says something about their character and the trustworthiness. But even thinking about their character, a lot of people online are discussing if they would do the same thing in that position. Like, who wouldn't pardon their own son? If you were president, would you pardon your own son? Obviously, most people, a lot of people online are saying absolutely, of course. Many people, including myself, have said I don't know if people should be upset about this. But on the other side, the argument exists. Like, if they are guilty of all of these crimes, it's unethical to pardon them, because then you completely disregard all responsibility of taking ownership for those crimes. And now, how is that good for society? How is it good for people? How is it good for this country if we have people who've committed these crimes and now they're almost facing no consequences? How is that good? That's the argument. And I think people are going to be arguing about this for a long time. But let me know what you think about that in the comment section. I think it's interesting. Something else I wanted to mention was I saw this clip on X. It looks like it's from Fox News, but we saw Karine Jean-Pierre. Looks like she phoned in and she was talking about the matter, and I thought this was really interesting. So check this out.
I wanted to ask you, could those statements now be seen as lies from the American people? Is there really a credibility issue here given now this announcement?
First of all,
One of the things that the president always believes is to be truthful to the American people. That is something that he always truly believes. He came to this decision this weekend, so let's be very clear about that. He says it himself.
How soon could the next round of pardons could come?
I don't have a timeline for you. As you know, this usually happens towards the end, and so the president is going through that process. I'm not going to get ahead of him, but you can expect more announcements to come.
Does the president have any intention of?
And there you have it, right? So this is the beginning. And I think what's interesting is Chris Cuomo talks about this on his segment with News Nation. He says, what if this was actually a very strategic decision from the Biden administration? What if Hunter Biden was just the first one because they knew that it would make enough noise, because they know conspiracy theorists love Hunter Biden and there's just so much attention, and it's just diverting the attention over there. So whenever more pardons are issued, they don't make as much noise because everyone's attention is already diverted. Everyone, like the flashlight is already shining in that direction. So when other pardons happen, they kind of just go under the radar. So now my other question is, well, what are the pardons? All right. That's interesting. Going back to what Karine Jean-Pierre was discussing, more are coming. And I love that Keith Edwards went ahead and he wrote this on X. He says, shouldn't Biden pardon everyone Trump has said he'll go after, which include Fauci, Cheney, Jack Smith, etc. Is that coming? Possibly. I wouldn't be surprised. And he also discusses like if this was the right decision. He says in another tweet saying Trump was going to do crazy, unlawful crap either way. Biden not pardoning Hunter would have only hurt Hunter. This is the right thing to do. Again, debatable. I feel like people are going to be debating this for a really, really long time. The point of this video isn't to answer the question. It was just to kind of widen up people's views. Okay. Like Leia says, Joe Biden is a terrible president, but great dad. All of you would pardon your own kids. It would be unnatural not to. And I love the first comment, right? The first comment by Maddie. They say, great dads won't let their kids get to that situation in the first place. It's true. It's true. And she comments saying, yes, but if you were president, you would pardon your own kid. So they're kind of humanizing this moment. The last thing I want to share is essentially kind of, zooming out a bit as to what this means. Because yes, you could say that President Biden's a good dad, or you could even, disagree with it. But I love that Benny Johnson went ahead and he shared, overnight, Democrats just admitted the Biden crime family is real and is in fact so criminal. The only way they'll stay out of life in prison is if they get the largest blanket pardon in presidential history. And then he ends with this saying, so, ... we were 100% right for the last 4 years. That is crazy. That is crazy. And, thinking a lot about this whole movement of, theorizing, and a lot of people are, what people were saying about Hunter Biden, what people were saying about COVID, what people were saying about a lot of things that were in the shadows and then they made their way into the light. More so, we're learning that people are right. And these conspiracy theorists are just truth seekers, and they carry a lot more truth than more people would like to admit. So I think it's fascinating, it's interesting, but nonetheless, the purpose of this video was to talk about perspectives from pretty much everyone on the spectrum. Anyways, that's the end of this video. Please let me know what you thought about it. Let me know what you think about this conversation. Let me know what your take is on Biden, on Hunter Biden being pardoned. I think it's definitely interesting. I think it communicates a lot. To me, I went ahead and wrote this on Twitter earlier today. I wrote that I think that Biden cares more about his son than he does about his reputation. And that's kind of one quick takeaway that I had, which was that he almost doesn't care about his legacy. He just cares about kind of being a family guy, about being a good dad and doing what probably any dad would do. But even that statement is, making some heavy waves, right? Because like going back to what Maddie says, great dads don't let their kids get in that situation. You're right. You're right. But anyways, kind of a crazy story, kind of all over the place. But that's life. That's news. And I like that I get to make these videos and kind of create this sort of time capsule that kind of tries to gather everyone's perspectives and thoughts in a meaningful, kind of cohesive type of way. But anyways, let me know what you think about it. Let me know if you agree with this statement, or let me know which side you are on, if you are pro pardoning Hunter or anti pardoning Hunter. Let me know what you think about this in the comments, and I will see you all next time. Also, subscribe to the newsletter, because why not? Okay, hope you guys have a good day, and Merry Christmas. Episode's over already? Geez, that was fast. Well, they say beautiful things do not last forever, but feel free to watch and listen to another one of these episodes if you're interested in those conversations as well. Also, this next part is huge. Make sure to obliterate that like and subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never skip a beat. I also have a newsletter where we dive into the news, politics, and ideas that shape our future. If you're interested in signing up, I'd really appreciate that. Anyways, that's the end of this episode. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll see you next time.